and now in the start house is the defending champion of the Tour. He now concentrates on pulling off a ride that should see him move up the overall classification tonight.
So Jan Ullrich is away, the first real test for him, Paul, since the prologue, I suppose, in Dublin.
He's had an excellent start to this year's Tour de France. He's been very quiet, no problems at all, and today is the event where he is one of the great specialists, the time trial, and for the moment he's looking very good indeed. But the time by Tyler Hamilton, Phil, at all the checkpoints was quite remarkable. He's the fastest man so far.
Well, hats off to Tyler Hamilton. He really has pulled out a special ride there, but Ullrich is pushing him all of the way, as he's now looking for a time that might match it. Hamilton's time, by the way, at the finish is 1 hour 16 minutes and 35 seconds, and Ullrich is running Hamilton, as you can see, pretty close here, and he might well just go ahead of Tyler Hamilton's time. Tyler was fastest at every checkpoint. Now it's Ullrich, so he's on course. Ullrich, the only rider to beat 1 hour at the 45-kilometre check, and he's continuing to look extremely good.
And it's over the last 5 or 6 kilometres that this course really hurts. That's where the biggest damage is done, and that's where most of the riders so far have in fact started to crack. And look at the time here. Ullrich is coming up. The time to beat is that of Tyler Hamilton, 1:16.35, and Ullrich is going to walk all over it.
Now Ullrich is going to come in here and deliver the blow that everybody was worried about. Was he fit or wasn't he fit? Was he really overweight? Well, here comes his answer now, because he's going to be the best time by sure. Ullrich then, the first man to knock Hamilton off the top of the leaderboard, 1:15.25, and nobody's going to beat that.
Nobody will. 46 kilometres an hour, a remarkable performance by the man who's been dogged by overweight this year, and everybody said he couldn't get ready for the Tour de France, but I think he's answered all of his critics this afternoon.
A glorious ride by Tyler, getting second place, just 1 minute and 10 seconds slower in the end than Jan Ullrich, and Bobby Julich in there as well. Is this going to be the year of the Americans in the Tour de France? But there is the rider. He's got the yellow jersey. Are we going to see him carried all the way to Paris now? There's still one more day in the Pyrenees tomorrow before we cross over the valleys towards the Alps, and we go to Plateau de Beille, a distance of 170 kilometres next. 151 riders left in the Tour, as this rider, 131, Casagrande, crashes out of the Tour. Cofidis have lost their apparent leader of the team. There were others too, like Bueno Hora, and this was Jens Voigt. That's the way to lose your King of the Mountains jersey. He was lucky that's all he lost. Jan Ullrich is again the man to beat in this Tour.
Na gut, da trennt sich die Spreu vom Weizen, und ich hoffe, dass ich morgen wieder gute Beine am Berg habe, und morgen ist sicherlich noch ganz, ganz schwer. Ich bin die Etappe ja schon vor 2 Wochen in der Route Süd gefahren, und ja, also es war eine ganz, ganz schwere Etappe, und ich hoffe, dass das Wetter wieder besser wird. Also es ist ganz kalt, und das fährt natürlich unwahrscheinlich viel Energie raus.
And there it is, there is the yellow jersey, Jan Ullrich being taken back up towards the race. Bjorn Ries is down there, so too is Christian Henn. There's the green jersey of Erik Zabel, who doesn't look as though he's waiting. He looks as though he's being dropped here as the climb has started. So the champion is going to have to fight his way back into this right now.
He'll have to make a champion performance to put himself back on top this afternoon. Leading him at the front of the riders of Telecom there is Udo Bolz, the faithful lieutenant. He's got to pick his way through all of these cars who are being slowed down by riders being dropped at the bottom of the climb, and this is going to be absolute chaos for him. But he won't panic. He's a sensible rider. He won the Tour de France last year, and you can see the difference in speed.
Like Ullrich has just had, he will be able to help him out, but now he's become the leader of the team, and cutting his way through the debris now is Jan Ullrich. He's got to get through quickly and get back and try and control the head of this race, and he's only got one rider left. It's Christian Henn who's still with him, who's trying to now take him back up. But just look at the back, Paul. How many riders have sat up as the climb has started?
A lot of riders are just trying to survive on this climb. They just want to get to the finish as soon as they can. But even now, Henn has had to sit up. He can't follow the pace by Jan Ullrich. This for Ullrich this afternoon is going to be a time trial. You can see all of these other riders, they're just riding up. They don't want to get eliminated. But for the man in the yellow jersey, he's got so much at stake.
Well, he's just using that immense strength.
You know, Phil, there's been a puncture at the bottom of the climb here. You couldn't have punctured at a worse possible time because the climb has started in earnest.
The pace on this climb is very, very fast, and sooner or later somebody is going to crack because the climb has already started to bite.
There's Ullrich in the back of that group of riders. He has done a magnificent job to come back, Phil, because that was the worst time to puncture right at the bottom of the climb, and he's pulled his way right through the field of all of the riders in the Tour de France.
Well, there's Rodolfo Massi, the king of the mountains leader. He's been passed by the yellow jersey. The yellow jersey, a hen has finally cracked. The yellow jersey now must continue his journey to the front by himself. A man in yellow, he doesn't normally see this part of the peloton on the climb. Paul, he must have realised there's a little bit of a traffic jam down there now as he tries to pick his way through.
Picking his way through the field there. The man in front of him in the red and yellow jersey is Angel Casero, the champion of Spain. But you can see the front of the main field, Phil. He's picked his way right the way through there. And there is the red, white and blue jersey of the champion of Holland. So what a remarkable performance. He's riding up the outside, and very shortly he's going to be at the front of the main group.
Absolutely frightening. The quality performance only has ever been seen like this from riders like Eddie Merckx, Bernardino and Greg LeMond. As he on the far right there, you see the bald head of Marco Pantani, so he's going to feel a little bit more relieved now, Ullrich, that he's got the race under control.
And Ullrich is now back in the front group.
And now Pantani has decided to go just like he did yesterday, but the riders are not so far in front of him this time.
Second time in 2 days, the big reaction, Phil, coming from the yellow jersey himself, Jan Ullrich. He knows the danger of the pirate, Elefantino, Dumbo, a whole host of nicknames for this man, and he doesn't want him to go clear on this climb, and he's chasing him down.
Well, this climb takes it up to 1,747 metres. There's been a reaction from Ullrich. He's not going to allow Pantani to do what he did yesterday.
No help coming to Jan Ullrich from anyone else in that group. He's the leader. He has to do all of the work himself.
And Ullrich getting all the fluid down here now because they try to contain Pantani. Such a typical attitude of a climber. Lift the tempo one more notch and break your rivals. 50 seconds is now the gap. It's beginning to look a little bit serious for Ullrich.
Ullrich's not panicking though. Look at the face, complete control. He's looking around to see who is in the group with him.
And this is the chase group there under the 1 kilometre to go. And that is a great victory for Pantani.
Overall, Ullrich is the leader. In second place is Bobby Julich, but watch out for Marco Pantani.